Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Tuesday, the 20th of December. A day with a little bit of rain, so you may hear the thunder. But we continue reading with Robert Murray McShane, and one of the chapters we read today is John chapter 10. It's a chapter with a lot of illustrations around sheep and shepherds. And the first interesting thing is Jesus says to the scribes and Pharisees that there's a way in, the gate to the sheepfold. Anyone that doesn't go through the gate is a thief come to steal the sheep. And he says in verse 7, therefore, Jesus said again, I tell you the truth, I am the gate for the sheep. All who ever came with some other way were thieves and robbers. So he's saying he is the gate, which is an illustration for us that the way to the Father, the way to follow is through Jesus. We don't go any other way other than through the gate. But then Jesus changes the picture slightly a little later in verse 11. He says, I am the good shepherd. So not only is he the gate, he's also the good shepherd that leads the sheep through the gate. And he has these mixed metaphors, these interesting images that you've got to just follow and learn what he's saying. You can't try and put it all together to make a single coherent picture. You've got to just let each of these images speak as Jesus leads us. And he says he's the good shepherd and he lays down his life for his sheep. And he repeats it in verse 14. He says, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep and my sheep know me. And as we pull these various pictures together, for me it was a wonderful image of Jesus being the way. Jesus being the person that's going to lead us by offering himself. He's not going to point us in the direction. He's going ahead. He's going to lay down his life for us. And that Jesus is a shepherd that knows his sheep by name. He knows his sheep. He knows us. And for me, that's always an encouragement, these words and images where it talks about God knowing us personally, knowing our names, calling us to follow him. It's not just that there's a group of people that we happen to be part of. God knows every single one of us and then calls us into the sheepfold, calls us to be part of his flock, calls us to follow him. But he always calls us personally and individually and specifically. And so I pray that you would hear God's word to you, that you would hear God calling you by name, and be encouraged to know that God, the good shepherd, knows us. He knows you and he wants you to follow him. And the only way to follow God, or the only way to God, is to follow Jesus as the good shepherd and the gateway through which we go. So as we're approaching Christmas and thinking of Jesus being born in a manger and the shepherds coming down from the hills to see him, we recognize Jesus is the good shepherd and we are his sheep. And he was born in a manger so that he could ultimately lay down his life for us. So be encouraged, be challenged, be blessed.